The time was 10:12 p.m. As Liam Gloverpar's mass execution ticked closer and closer,
セレス、兄様は無事。兄様は今どこにいるの？
Saraz, is my brother safe? Where is he? Nadia was next to me, clinging to my clothes as she desperately asked for her brother's whereabouts. Nadia must have already heard from Donuts what Lucas had done, but I couldn't possibly tell her what I heard from Capuchin. There was no way. Lucas went into hiding to recover. We don't know exactly where he is. But what are you doing here, Nadia? Donut responded to my question instead of the young girl in front of me.
シアンさんの殺害未遂の直後ぐらいからリュカさんを従わせる人質として連れてきたんですよ。
Well, after the attempt on Cyan's life, I brought her here with me to keep as a hostage for Luca's cooperation. A hostage? Wait a minute. So when Lucas pleaded to have Nadia returned, it was from here? How dare you? Do you know how much Lucas suffered to try to save Nadia?
そんなに怒らないでくださいよ。確かに彼女の命をちらつかせてリュカさんに命令を下してましたけど。
Come on, don't be angry. It's true that I gave orders to Lucas by threatening her life, but
その人質以外の目的もちゃんとあったというか。
you see, there's another reason I took her hostage. He looked embarrassed as he glanced over at Nadia again and again.
どうしてもナディアだけは処刑するのが嫌で安全な場所に避難させておきたかったんです。
I really don't want Nadia to get involved with those other people. So I brought her here so that she could be safe.
ナディアによからぬことを考えていたカプシーヌへの牽制をしておく必要もありましたし。
I am happy for that. If Capuchin didn't get punished, I would be infuriated. Capuchin can't survive this. I also had to punish Capuchin too, for the disgusting plans he had for her. Come to think of it, you said before that Nadia had the same views of life as the Queen.
ええ、あれからどうもナディアには弱いんですよね。
Yes.
ナディア自身は僕と友人なんてもう嫌かもしれませんけど。
Yeah, and since then I've developed a weakness for Nadia. Even though I'm sure she doesn't want to be my friend anymore.
ダハト君。
憎んでいいんですよ、ナディア。僕は君のお兄さんを殺人鬼に仕立て上げた全ての元凶です。
It's okay if you hate me, Nadia. I mean, I'm the one who turned your brother into a mass murderer.
この戦争が終わったらいくらでも罵倒を聞きます。ただ最高があるから命だけはあげられません。
Once this war is over, I'll take whatever abuse you give me. But I can't give you my life because I need to rebuild this country. Donut directed the soldier with his eyes to lead her back into the safety of the room where she came from. No, I wanted to get
さて、
on.
処刑の時刻も近づいてきた頃ですし。
I wanted to talk with her more. But probably best she doesn't see what's gonna go on. Now, the time for the execution is near.
そろそろ誰か来るかな。通路全体をリアルタイムで監視できるようにしておかないと。
I wonder who's gonna show up. I better get the passage ready so I can see who's coming in real time. He was going to prepare for the invaders, so that he could greet them with force. Donut stood from his seat and merrily hummed a tune as he walked in front of a device. He flung off his lab coat as if to state that he was no longer a researcher, but a king. You seem to be enjoying the idea that someone might come to stop you.
そりゃまあ僕も狭いとはいえ一国の王ですし。
Well, I'm still a king, however small the country is.
戦争の一つでもしておいた方が箔がつくと思ったんですよね。
I figured it's high time I get some warring experience under my belt to give me some pedigree. Donut tapped on the stone slate with his fingers, opening screens of light around the room. As the country continued to rumble from its impending doom, Adolf and the others rushed into the underground passage to stop the new king from carrying out his mass execution.
ようこそ私が作った城へ。一つ賭けをしようか。第二の漂流者、アドルフ。
Welcome to my castle. Why don't we make a bet with the second drifter, Adolf? They did him dirty. They really did him dirty giving him that name. Especially when you put Drifter in front of it. Moving on. Having drunk their elixirs, they made their way through the passage that the king was now calling his castle.
出たな、今日。
It's our insane king. Adolf raised his head at the voice booming through the tunnels.
君たちは0時の処刑を止めるべく私の元へ向かっているのだろう。
You're coming for me to stop the midnight execution, right?
だがせっかくここに囚われの姫君がいるというのに何もせずぼーっとさせているのも忍びない。
Well, what good is it to keep the princess twiddling her thumbs while she waits for her rescuer?
彼女には0時の処刑発動に合わせ本来の予定と呪いの解除と母を蘇らせるための素材となっている。
I will personally sacrifice her at midnight in order to lift the curse and revive my mother while everyone else is executed.
果たしてそれまでに君たちは私を打倒し彼女を奪還することができるかな。
Let's see if you'll be able to overthrow me and recapture her by then. I think one of the reasons Donut's doing this, well, it's still bad, is that, because he's putting himself in quite a position. I think he plans to have one of the other characters, like, kill him, and then be, like, recognized as, like, the hero of the country or something, and become the new ruler. That also might be happening. Not like it's never happened before in fiction, so it is a possibility. After hearing the mad proclamation, Adolf realized he didn't have much time left.
それのどこが賭けだ。結局はお前の実験を止めればいいだけの話だろ。
That's not a bet. All we have to do is get there and stop you.
本気で死者の蘇生ができるという自信があるんだね。
So you're really confident you can bring back your mother from the dead?
シアンにはできなくても私にはできる。してみせる。
Even if Cian couldn't do it, I can. I'll make it happen.
あの頃の母を、私を愛してくれた母を、この国で唯一の本物の人間として蘇らせてみせる。
I will revive my mother, who loved me as the only true human in this country. Dunadan tapped his device in order to address the country once more.
母の死を悲劇の一言で片付けたこの国、王族、国民、私は断じて認めない。
I will not forgive this country, the royal family, or the citizens for easily dismissing my mother's death as a tragedy.
国あっての民、民あっての王族。
A nation
ならば
is
その
people?
すべて母の復活の礎として捧げてくれ。
The people make the royal family. Every last one of you will be sacrifices for my mother's resurrection.
儚き命を生きる尊さから目をそらし、理不尽に抗うこともしなかった堕落こそ、この国に救う最大の呪いである。
The greatest curse that consumed this land was the indifference of those who would not fight the threat against humanity.
それでも私が間違っているというのなら、正してみせる、アドルフ。
The only human in this country is Adolf. If you think I'm wrong, try to stop me. His proclamation of war was the last announcement before Dona switched off. Hearing the challenge issued to him, everyone turned their attention to Adolf.
ご指名だぞ、アドルフ。
He wants you, Adolf.
熱烈だね。
He's a passionate guy. Why does this... Is this turning into a yaoi?
君の悪いこ
A
とを言
boy's
うな。
love?
俺はあいつ一筋だ。
Stop trying to grace me out. I'm only going there for her.
お前も随分素直になったよな。
You've become pretty honest, haven't you? Adolf and Anko were trying to avoid wasting their stamina, as there was no telling what could happen. As expected, the Royal Guard clones were stationed across the way, but Yves and Hugo managed to cut them down quickly.
それにしても、アンクーの霊薬はすごいね。本当に呪いが効かないんだ。
I have to admit, Anko's elixir really is something. It really is nullifying the curse.
ああ、死の番人様々だな。
Yeah,
なあ、うちにこの霊薬を下ろす気はねえか？
kudos to the Watchmen of Death. Hey, have you thought about selling these? Can make a fortune.
死の番人はもうやめてくれ。アンクーでいい。
Stop calling me the Watchman of Death already. Just call me Anko. Anko sent a stern glare to Adolf, who was doing his best to hold back laughter.
それより道順はこれで合っているのかな？
That aside, are you sure this is the correct direction?
もう少し待って。そろそろ向こうから突入したシアンさんから連絡が入るはず。
Just a second. We should be getting a call from Cyan and the others. From the other routes. As if on cue, a voice came through the transmitters.
聞こえるか？第二の漂流者とその他。
Can you hear me, Second Drifter crew?
今からハッキングした設計データに基づき、お前たちの現在位置を確認しつつ誘導する。
I hacked into the system, so I'll guide you based on your current location.
1回の案内につき1度しか言わんからな。 聞き逃した場合は自己責任で朽ち果てろ。
I'll only say each direction once. If you miss any of them, you will all die.
そこは間違えても助けてやるとか頼もしいこと言う場面じゃねえの。
It's just not in his character, Hugo. Can you say something reassuring like, you'll get us back on track if we get lost? It's like, nope. Cyan disregarded Hugo's complaints and began to analyze the blueprint data, but
ほう、さすがに硬いな。俺の組んだ防犯プログラムをさらに改良したか、ダード。
quite secure, I see. Looks like Donut modified the security system I engineered. Cyan only had a compact terminal to use that was connected to the system.
ダメだな。まっとうに勝負したところで処理速度で完全に敗北する。
It's no use. My terminal doesn't have the power needed to overwrite this program.
諦めるのが早いって。あんたがどうにかしないとロザリーがどこにいるかわからないんだぞ。
Aren't you giving up too soon? You have to do something or I'll never see Rosalie again.
イブさんたちも冷薬が切れた状態でさまよったら死んでしまいます。
Yves and the others would die if they're still in there when the elixir wears off.
わめくな、クロードその1とその2。この程度の問題想定内だ。対抗策も用意している。
Stop shouting, Claude 1 and Claude 2. I already have a backup plan for this situation. Claude 1 and Claude 2, oh my god.
何も同じ舞台で戦ってやる義理などどこにもないからな。
After all, there's no need for me to face him at a disadvantage.
クロードその2、例の本とお前の家に伝わる翻訳書は持ってきているな。
Claude 2, you have that translation book, and the other one with you, right?
はい。シアンさんに言われて急いで屋敷から持ってきました。
Yes. I retrieved mine from home as soon as you told me to get it.
こっちがアンクーさんとイブさんが見つけた漂流者の本の原本で。
Let's see. This one here is the Drifter's original book that Anko and Yves found, and the book was hidden in Yves' clothes on the day when Lucas killed and captured Anko.
こっちが僕の家に伝わる翻訳書になります。
This one here is the translation manual that was passed down through my family.
この原本に書かれている漂流者の故郷の文字、訳せるな。
I expect you to be able to use that to decipher the Drifter's book.
ああ、はい。少しぐらいならなんとか。翻訳書に載っていましたし。
Huh? Oh, sure. A little bit, I guess. The characters are in the translation manual.
難しいけど面白いですよね。同じ国の言語なのにいろんな種類や読み方があって。
It's difficult, but it's interesting. It keeps using the same characters, but there are so many ways they can be read.
そうか、すべて訳せるか。さすがは本の虫の家系、実に優秀だな。
I see. So you can translate everything. I knew I could count on the family of the bookworms.
違う。僕少しって。
No, wait. I only said a little.
ならクロードその1も当然この文字を訳せるわけだな。
Very well. Then have Claude 1 help you translate the rest.
いや、最低限の教育は受けたけど、俺は別にそこまで本好きじゃないし。
Hey, I'm only educated up to a point. I'm not huge on reading.
できるんだな。よし。
So you can, good.
こんなこともあろうか
Get
と
to it.
小型端末をあと2つ用意しておいた。お前たちに特別に貸してやる。
I thought that would be the case. I prepared 2 portable transmittal terminals. I'll give you special permission to borrow them.
聞けよ人の話なあ
He's like, nope.
すげえ嫌な予感がするんだけど
Listen when people talk. Jeez. I have a bad feeling about this.
これを使って僕たちは何をすれば
So, what should we do with these? The curious homunculus asks with a growing sense of unease, at which point Cyan responded with a kind smile like a demon's.
それでは今から
We love it. We love it. What I want from you now is...
この本の内容をすべて訳し記されている文字のあらゆる意味と文法も添えて絶えず俺の端末に送れ
You have 1 hour. I want you to translate everything inside that book with notes on technical definitions and use, and send them all to me in real time.
ノルマは1秒につき3文字または1単語以上1秒の休憩も一瞬の瞬きも許さん本の虫の家系の意地を見せてみろ
Per second? Honey, you're asking for too much. Even from them. I want at least 1 word translated per second, with no resting in between. Show me what you're made of, bookworms. The device was connected to the intricate passage, stretching across Arbachel. Its security was built by Donuts, the former direct reports of Cyan Growth-Eyes. Now he was known as Liam Govapoir. However, Donut was busy managing not only that system, but also the series of bombs to be detonated at midnight. The personnel he entrusted with guarding the data he developed was hiding in a distant location. Damn it, he's still alive, really?
私を追放したあの半端者が支援者の正体だったとは
Damn you, Donuts. The kid who exiled me from the Institute was my supporter all along?
しかも処刑とはなんだあんなめちゃくちゃな計画私は何も聞いていないぞ
And now he's going to execute everyone? I've never heard of such a mad plan in my life. I'm gonna create a new breed of humans. I'm gonna kidnap little children and turn them into homunculus monstrosities. That's also mad. You have no room to speak. The Lycoris princess, along with Nadia and his collection, were all taken hostage. As such, Capuchin had no other choice but to follow Donut's orders. As Donut expected, a certain someone had been attempting to crack his system, but the program that Donut developed was still built in a way that it made it easy for Capuchin to prevent the breach.
リュカを捨てたのは失敗だった奴さえいれば拠点に赴いてナディアたちを奪還できたものを
It was my fault for getting rid of Lucas. If only I had him. I could go in and retrieve both Nadia and my collection. He bit his lip with frustration as he continued to think of a way to get back at Donuts, when suddenly there was another attempt to crack into the system from the same terminal. Dismayed that his opponents would not give up, Capuchin deployed the defense program to stop them. Reverse, you know? What?
なんだこのめちゃくちゃな言語。見たことも聞いたこともないぞ。
I think I see what's going on. I don't know how, but I think I see a portion. This is the translations, the language that Mathis and Jean are translating right now. And Science somehow encrypting it into the program to hack in. I don't really know how that works, but pretty sure that's it. What is this nonsensical language? I've never seen it before. Could it be?
同じシステムプログラムでは処理速度で負けるから。
Using the same program is futile, since the speed is faster on my side. But
全く違う言語でシステムそのものをゼロから新たに開発している。
they're actually developing a new system from scratch using a different language? Hey! Tricky, tricky, tricky! Without any way to stop the breach, he could only watch as data was extracted, and he was kicked out of the system. Let's go. There was only one person who was able to accomplish such a feat. Yep, that's him.
シアンプロフィワーズ
Got him.
なんだ、組んだのはダハトでも操ってるのは別人。三流のようだな。
What a letdown. Donut may have created the system, but the person moderating it is a third-rate programmer. He didn't know who it was, but he didn't care.
この国の王はあいつでも、この国の技術の王は俺だけだ。
He may be the king of this country, but I am the king of technology.
さあ、ひざまずけ。
Now kneel before me. Yes! The systems sector managed by Donut was divided from the rest, so Science's new program couldn't take control of it, but he was able to locate where this third-rate programmer was. Science took over the devices they were moderating, and caused a portion of them to explode using his program.
こんなものか。
That was easy. This programmer had likely been reduced to ashes from the explosion. Yes! I love you even more now! Victory is ours!
終わった。
It's over.
バッカじゃねえの。漂流者の故郷の文字。
Curse the stupid language from Drifter's homeland. There were 3 types of characters, and each were read differently, with some characters possessing multiple meanings. Jean's head was about to explode from the overload as he yelled in frustration at Science's unreasonable demands.
シアンさん、ロザリーさんの遺体の保管場所は分かりましたか？
Cian, have you discovered where they're keeping Rosalie's body?
今送る。
I'll send it now.
少し遠いですね。早く迎えに行ってあげよう。じゃん。
It's pretty far away. Let's go and get her, Jean.
はあ、お前も来るのか。
Because he's a good boy. Honestly, he should hate Jean. I would. I do. But he's a good kid. Are you coming too?
うん。一人で行ってもカプセルが重くて運べないと思うから。
Yeah.
それに
I think you'll need help carrying her capsule, and
女の人がずっとこんな場所に一人でいたなんて寂しいだろうなって。
I just thought it might be lonely for a girl to be left alone like this for so long.
それにロザリーさんは
Hmm?
僕が生まれるきっかけになった人だか
You know, I never thought
ら
of
なお
that.
さら助けたい。
Besides, Rosalie is the very reason I was born, so I want to help her too.
無事に取り返せたら暖かいところ連れて行ってあげたいね。
Once we find her,
ちょっと寒いから。
let's take her someplace warm. It's a little cold in here. My baby, I love him so much. As he listened to those words, the image of his beloved Rosalie sleeping in a cold capsule flashed through Jean's mind. He had spent so much time thinking about reviving his beloved with the same memories and appearance of her past. But after Capucine took her away, he finally realized how important it was that he be near Rosalie herself, as she currently was. And now, this artificially made, patchwork ragdoll of a younger brother voiced concerns about how lonely and cold Rosalie must be, with a thoughtfulness for her that even Jean had considered before. Which is why he was frustrated, and
いた。なんでいきなり叩くの？
ouch. Why did you hit me?
俺のロザリーのことを知ったような顔して語るな。出来損ないのホムンクルス。
Don't talk about Rosalie like you knew her, you failed homunculus.
俺のロザリーはな、この程度のことでメソメソ泣いたりしない世界で一番芯の強い女なんだよ。
My Rosalie is the strongest woman in this world, and would never cry over something like this. At the same time, he was proud of him.
ほら、行くぞ。迎えに行く道すがら、ロザリーがどれだけいい女だったか徹底的に教えてやる。
Come on, let's go. I'll tell you everything you need to know so you can really understand how amazing Rosalie is. Okay. Aww. I think he's starting to see him as an actual brother. An artificially created life. A simple test subject that was created to bring someone back to life. His life and the memories he thought were his own. His affection for his brother, and his hatred for losing him. Every piece of Mathis was a patchwork of memories that were cobbled together from other people. He learned a startling truth recently, and was still coming to terms with his existence. That night. No, don't cry! After learning the truth, he shut himself away in his room and cried.
愛しい子、泣くのは大切なお友達を助けてからにしなさい。
Sweethearts, you should save your tears for after you rescue your dear friend.
頑張って。今のあなたならきっと一人で歩ける。
Do your best. I'm sure you can walk on your own now.
だってあなたは
After all,
人一倍強気な私と人一倍前向きな彼の
you're as
大切な
strong as I am, And as determined as he is, our dear. He heard a voice in his mind, gently encourage him, and seemed to feel in existence, embrace him from behind. It's a ghost! Yikes, Shaggy! I'm guessing that was Rosalie. Which is why Mathis was able to stand up despite his sorrow and walk on his own 2 feet. Cyan was now alone, and was beginning his final steps in ensuring that the program he hacked into would never be breached.
つまらん。ダハトが相手であれば少しは手応えがあったというのに。
This was boring. I was expecting more of a fight from Donuts.
俺が
I wonder.
呪いへ無意識に逃げの手を打っていなければ、お前のたどる末路も少しは変わったか。
Perhaps my future might have been different if I hadn't subconsciously tried to escape the curse. According to a certain killer,
俺とお前が組めばどんな奇跡だろうが起こせたらしいからな。
working with Donuts might have led to miracles beyond imagination. That aside,
ダハトがあの女の息子。確かに比べてみればよく似ている。
Donuts, that woman's son? I suppose I do see the resemblance.
この厄介なすれ違い。どうしたものか。
It's gonna be a pain trying to fix them. A number of figures surrounded Cyan as he turned his back to the stone slates. They were hollow, genetic puppets, from which the emotion of fear had been removed. Cyan wasn't very emotional himself, yet he didn't feel much affinity for them. Instead of bracing himself for battle, Cyan simply massaged his shoulder as he left the area. Suddenly, the clones began their siege, coming to him all at once.
だがそれとこれとは別問題だ。
But that's a different story.
俺の研究所を乗っ取ったお前には仕置きをしなければ気が済まんのでな。
I need to teach you a lesson for taking over my research facility. He turned around, and with a bold voice no different from the young king's, proclaimed,
リアム・レーブ・ポワール。本来お前に仕えるはずだった中堅で、その目論見を潰してやろう。
Lian Witherpaw, I will turn your loyal dog against you, and crush your plans. He tossed into the air a vial filled with the elixir he received from the Watchman of Death. It disappeared in midair, and in the next moment, a large cage spread across the air. Cape. That makes more sense. A large cape. I'm like, how's that work? How did a large cage materialize in the air? From behind descended the greatest weapon to guard him.
薬はすべて抜けたな。契約通り、今からお前の主人は俺だ。
The drug's effects have worn off, I assume. As per our agreements, I am now your master.
俺の研究を邪魔する有象無象をことごとくなぎ払え。
Go and annihilate those grunts that are trying to get in the way of my research.
この命令を聞くのなら、 俺はダハと抜きでもお前の妹に奇跡を起こしてやる。
Obey my commands, and I will perform a miracle on your younger sister without the need for donuts. Hearing the command, the killer responded by tightening his grip on his weapon.
悪魔と呼んでいた男に付き従う時が来るとは。
Well, sometimes it's fun to hang out with demons. But think I would ever decide to serve a man I once called a demon?
これもまた私に与えられた神からの罰でしょうか。
I suppose this is another trial given to me by God. No.
これは私が自分の意志で選んだ道だ。
This is because of the path I chose.
神頼りなどではなく、今度こそ自分で手繰り寄せた
Not by
運命だ。
relying on God. This time, I have brought my fate into my own hands. I would never let go of this opportunity.
我が目にもはや一切の曇りなし。
My eyes see clearly now.
東方より伝わりし武の力、守り救いたいと願う者の希望のために
I
振るい
will
ましょ
wield
う。
the power handed to me from the east to deliver those I must protect to salvation.
では死にたい者から
Yeah, let's go.
前へ
Now step forward to accept death.
手合わせ願う。
Let us begin. Get him! Following the instructions from Sion, they continued through the horde of clones. Yves and Hugo cut away at the mindless genetic copies of the Royal Guard and the Institute's security force. Adolf sewed through the openings and continued through the passage.
さすが4人だと早いね。
We're making good progress.
お前は何もしてないけどな。
Not like you're doing anything.
けど油断は禁物だろ。
We can't let our guard down.
警備が弱すぎて逆に怪しい。ここが本命ルートだってんならそろそろ奴が出てくるはずだ。
I smell something fishy with how weak the enemies are so far. If this is the right way, he should be showing up soon. Yeah. His words became reality. One of the clones of their familiar teacher leapt out of the corner and struck Adolf.
アドルフ
He was able to somehow block the attack, but
アドルフその男から距離を取れ。
Adolf, get away from him.
無理だ。すぐ詰められて切られる。
I can't. He's just gonna chase after me.
まずい。肩が外れる。
Damn it, my shoulder. Either his shoulder would give, or his bones would break. But neither happened, as a powerful kick struck Barreau's clone from his side, knocking him against the wall. The clone crashed against it, and slowly collapsed on the floor.
なんとか入った。相手の体重が軽くて助かったよ。
Thank goodness. I'm so glad he's lighter than I thought.
助かった。
You're a lifesaver.
どういたしまして。でもお礼を言うには少し早すぎるかも。
No problem at all. But I think it's too early to be thanking me.
行ったそばからご登場だ。一体どれだけ控えさせているのやら。
Looks like another's coming. I wonder how many are waiting for us.
一人でも厄介なのに二人なんて無理に決まってんだろ。
I've got our hands full with just one, so we're not going to be able to handle two.
挟まれたら終わりだ。なんとかして巻くぞ。
It's over if they corner us. We need to get going. Everyone agreed that they needed to escape. But they were being dragged by the water beneath, while Barreau quickly leapt from wall to wall to approach them. Yves stepped forward to take the first strike from the assailants. He looked back, knowing that the blow would be coming in a few seconds. He then stopped in his tracks, and in the next moment turned around and headed back the other way.
イブ。
Yves quickly ran between Adolf and Anko, who were looking on in surprise.
運命頑張って引き寄せてきなよ。
Go and get Fate on our side.
アンクーも好きな人に求婚する前に死んじゃダメだよ。
You too, Anko. You better not die before you ask for your beloved's hand in marriage. He gave a bold smile to urge the two of them to go on ahead. Sensing Yves' determination as he ran past them, the two of them nodded and ran to the laboratory while praying for their friend's safety. Get him! Get him, Yves! Using his momentum, Yves quickly struck Barreau with all his might. Barreau knocked Yves into the air, where he flipped a few times before landing in the water. When he managed to get back to his feet, he felt someone's back flat against his.
アドルフたちと一緒に行かなくてよかったの？
Huh? I thought you were going to be going with Adolf and Anko.
相棒を残していくわけねえだろ。お前がいつもみたいに無茶しないよう俺が見張ってねえとな。
I don't know why he thought Hugo would ever leave him. Nah, Hugo and Yves, they're a pair. I'm not leaving you, partner. After all, it's my job to make sure you don't do anything stupid.
そっか。
I see.
何ニヤニヤしてんだよ。
What are you smiling about?
いやほら最近俺たち別行動が多かったから一緒に戦うのも久しぶりだなって。
It is good to see them together again. Well, it's just that we've been working separately for so long. It feels nice to fight alongside you again.
やっぱり君が背中を守ってくれると温かくて安心する。
Yeah. I feel happy and assured when you've got my back like this.
やっぱり俺にはヒューゴがいないとダメだな。
Guess I'd really be lost without you, Hugo. Yves smiled innocently, as if they weren't in any danger at all. Oh no! Hugo suddenly fell to his knee, as an intense pain surged through his chest.
どうしたのヒューゴ？まさかアンクーの霊薬の効果が。
What's wrong, Hugo? Did Ankor's elixir wear off?
ああ、いや、そうじゃなくて。
No, that's not it.
マジか。この痛み、もしかしなくても、あれだよな。
He was touched. This is your fault, Yves. Typically it is, but you know. Don't let him know. Damn it, this pain. Don't tell me. It has to be that.
ああ、やっぱそうか。そういうことなのか。
I knew it. So that's how it is.
これから俺にどうしろってんだ。普通じゃねえだろこんなの。
What the hell am I supposed to do? Now's not the time for this.
ヒューゴ、本当に大丈夫？
It's like, Yvette, stop being nice. Hugo, are you sure you're alright?
大丈夫じゃねえが。大丈夫だよ。死にたくねえし、とっとと終わらせて、シアンさんに見てもらうわ。
I'm not alright. But I am alright. I don't want to die, so let's hurry and get this over with. I'll get Sian to check me out.
この騒ぎのせいで、クルーンも休業状態になって長いしよ。
We've kept Kroom closed for a good while since all this started, but
早く戻って、いい加減営業再開と行こうぜ、相棒。
it's about time we get the shop up and running, partner.
よくわからないけど了解。後のことは考えずに全力でやろう、相棒。
Not sure what just happened, but let's go. We can take care of the rest once we get through this, partner. Yves raised his voice, knowing that Donut was probably watching them. He was set on making sure the friendship between his ancestor and the immortal death didn't come to an end.
俺は始まりの漂流者の末裔、イブ・ノワージュ。
I'm Yves Niorj, descendant of the drifter who started it all.
リコリス・ノワージュの最後の守護者として、リアム・レーブ・ポワール陛下に宣戦布告を申し上げる。
As the last guardian of the Lagris Niorj, I declare war on His Majesty Liam Wivapar.
あなたにいかなる理由や信念があろうと、
Whatever your motivations are, whatever your beliefs,
誰に知られずともけなげにこの国を救い続けてきた。
I cannot let you trample upon the black Lagrises that have been saving this country.
思い出の黒き彼岸の花を惨劇のために利用することは
I will not forgive you for missing the black flowers of my memories for the sake of tragedy. As if in response of his declaration, more clones with superhuman genes appeared to lay siege against Yves and Hugo. I was forced inside an hourglass-shaped device, without any explanation from Donut at all. I wasn't sure whether it was out of courtesy or spite, but moving images of everyone taking action against this country's demise were displayed around me. Once the clock struck midnight, the country as we knew it, as well as our lives, would come to an end. I can't imagine Queen Christine wanting to deliver people to salvation like this. Suddenly, a certain thought came to mind. Donuts? I called out to Donuts, who was making the final adjustment to extract and genetically modify the traits I shared with Lagris. Ever since I got to meet you and Anko and everyone else, I've been having this strange dream, as if I'm living a different person's life. I know it sounds strange, but could my dream be memories from Queen Christine's genes? I hadn't seen Donut this flustered since before he revealed his identity. He then began to speak slowly, as if trying to recall the memories she shared with his mother in the past.
間違いなくそれは僕の母の記憶ですね。
I'm sure those dreams do come from my mother's memory. I thought so. I tried to get even more information. She wasn't really how she looked. I guess you can say she kept up appearances as needed. I didn't know the queen could look and act so differently when she was focused on being a mother. The hatred she felt toward the curse, causing people suffering, was especially intense.
なんと言いますか。優しいけど誤解されやすい人だったんです。性格もちょっと極端というか。
How can I say this? She was kind-hearted, but easily misunderstood. Her personality did reach some extremes at times.
何かに夢中になったり真剣になると、口調や表情が冷酷な雰囲気に表変するので、二重人格だって疑われたり。
People suspected she might have had a split personality disorder because of the way she changed so drastically when she was focused or serious. He also said she was overly protective.
お城から脱走して外に遊びに行ったりしたら、部屋から1週間は出してもらえなかったんですよ。
I once escaped the castle to go out and play, but when she caught me, she locked me in my room for a full week.
あと、間も悪かったな。
And she wasn't the lucky type either.
良かれと思ってやったことが、性格も相まって空回りして、何か悪事を企んでると誤解されたり。
You mean like locking her supposed child in a shed? Like that? She would do things thinking they were for the best, but things would go sideways and be misinterpreted as something evil. I wondered whether Donut modified his own memory bank. He spoke about his mother with sincere happiness and the kind of love that should have gone missing when he became a reliver. Donuts, the queen you described sounds like a very kind and noble person. Somehow, I don't know that she would agree with what you're planning. I think if she knew about it, it would make her very unhappy. Knowing that, do you still want to revive Queen Christine with the same personality and memories?
会いたいですよ。今すぐにでも。
Of course I do. As soon as possible.
僕、あの人が殺されてしまった時は子供だったから、苦しむ母様に何も言ってあげることができなくて。
She was murdered when I was still a kid. So there wasn't much I could do for her back then, when she was going through a lot. That was why he wanted to talk to her again.
あの時は助けられなくてごめんなさい。
I want to tell her I'm sorry for not being able to help her at all.
今度こそ僕が
You
母
were
様を
five,
守るから、
Donuts! You were five!
一緒に普通になったこの国を支えてほしい。
Oops. This time I'll protect her, and ask her to help me support this country once it becomes normal. No matter how much she hated him for what he had done, even if she disowned him and said he was no longer her child, he would accept that as part of the normal human emotions she had always wanted to keep. Donut spoke in a quiet voice. I see. The Mad King in front of me was planning a massacre. Yet I couldn't blame him for how much he loved his mother.
そういうあなたは僕に蘇らせたい理由を聞くなら、生きたい理由を聞いてもいいですよね。
And what about you? If you're gonna ask me why I want to revive her, can I ask you why you want to live? Well, I stopped for a moment. It made no sense for me to hide my feelings in front of this young man, so... The reason why I'm not just killing myself to thwart your plan isn't necessarily because I want to live. It's because I want to see Adolf. I want to see him and tell him my answer to his confession. That very thought was the only thing keeping me alive. I was indecisive in general, but that was the strongest desire in my heart. I can't do that if I die. Which is why I'm cooperating with your orders. At first, Donut seemed astonished by my comments, but he quickly followed it with a chuckle.
いいですね。僕もあなたがお返事する光景見てみたいです。
Nice. I'd love to see you give him your reply too. It was a laughter that came from innocence and curiosity. But that smile quickly disappeared when he heard a dull sound from the screens monitoring the passages. I quickly looked toward... Oops. Typo. I quickly looked toward the screen to see Yves fighting and taking down the genetic puppets and the original Lucas mowing down his own clones elsewhere. Lucas! Thank goodness he's alive. I was sure he was heading here to save Nadia, and I was no longer saw any madness in his eyes.
ああ、せっかく用意した部隊やシステムを次々破ってくれちゃって。
Huh. There go all the soldiers and systems I prepared.
やっぱり練習と実践は違うな。研究所の部隊意識で少しは勉強できたと思うんだけど。
I guess practice can only go so far. And here I thought I knew a little more after leading the Institute's forces.
ま、相手が規格外すぎるっていうのもあるんですけど。
Well, I have an excuse since I'm facing opponents well above the norm. The 4 looks left behind by the Drifter. The 4 normal humans inherited each one. Donut must not have expected them all to come together to prevent the country's collapse.
皆さんだけでもなかなか手強いのに、ここでリュカさんを出してくるのはずるいですよね。
It's not fair for Lucas to jump in when the rest are already so formidable on their own. I didn't respond, though it sounded like he was trying to get me to agree. If you think you're gonna lose, may I suggest that you give up and surrender?
いいえ、まだまだ勝負はこれからです。
Nope. As they say, the battle's just begun.
相手が強すぎるって言うなら、動けないほど衰弱させちゃえばいいわけですから。
If they're too strong, then I'll just need to weaken them to the point that they can't move. Please don't. Huh? No, gosh. Suddenly, Donut began to move his hands across the large screen in front of him. The screen of light displayed ominous words that all indicated danger. It was as if the system he was controlling was trying to give him fair warning about whether or not he wished to continue. But the king disregarded the warnings and gave a simple response to the screen.
無論。
Of course. The king ignored and pounded the screen with his fist.
これは戦争。勝つためなら手段は選んでいられない。
This is war, and I will win it by any means necessary.
あちらが命を賭しているのなら、こちらも全力で迎え撃つのが礼儀というもの。
They're risking their lives to come here, though it's only proper that I face them with everything I have. The last sound of warning faded away. An image of a Lycoris appeared. Next, a small map of the underground passage appeared, and a Lycoris image snapped at the stem, seeping liquid. The screen of lights made it easy to tell what the simple image was depicting. A snapped Lycoris. Liquid from its stem. When he said he was going to weaken them, he meant Stop!
もう遅い。
Too late.
追加した毒素の濃度は3倍。果たして何人呪いから生き残れるかな？
Bad donut. Don't do it. I tripled the level of toxins. I wonder how many will actually survive the curse. The representative of death was determined to reap the lives of the intruders. He raised his sharpened scythe high into the air. No, this isn't good. This probably isn't really good at all. Slowly, the intensity of the drug in the water at Yves's feet strengthened. In the next moment, the passage turned into a death trap for both enemies and allies.
いきなりどうし
Yves, what the hell is... Mm.
苦しい。息ができない。
Can't breathe.
冷薬が切れたのか。
You look so wore off already.
これは
No, this is...
また毒素を水路に流し込んだか。この短期間でどれだけのリコリスを採取したんだあいつは。
He added more toxins to the water. I'm surprised he had the time to gather so many licorices.
俺は肺を強化しているからまだ余裕があるが。
I can still bear this since my lungs are strengthened, but... Oh no, this is gonna be especially bad for Lucas. He's already weakened.
寿命が迫っているこいつはまずい
Yeah.
な。今この瞬間に死んでもおかしくない。
He was already on the cusp of death to begin with. I wouldn't be surprised if he died any moment now. Cyan quickly carried Lucas, who was about to fall into the toxic water, then took out his transmitter.
聞こえるか？全員撤退しろ。
Can you hear me? Everyone evacuate now.
今各現在位置から最も近い出口を見つけてやるから、どうにか自力でたどり着け。
I will find the closest exit located near each of you, so do what you can to make your escape.
ああいや、俺としたことが指示を間違えた。
No. Wait. Disregard what I just said.
全員は撤退しなくていい。
Not everyone needs to escape.
ダハトとの決着は、奴がご就寝の宿敵に任せる。
I will leave Donut's nemesis to handle things.
だそうだよ。ただの脇役から随分と出世したじゃないか。
You heard him. Sounds like you've come a long way from a supporting role. Adolf continued on his own, saying that he didn't care.
だが何にせよダハトとの激突は避けられないだろうな。
This just means there's no way we can avoid fighting Donuts anymore.
あいつが説得に応じて計画をやめる首相な姿なんてかけらも想像できねえ。
Hello, Silvercloak. Oh yeah, the event ends in a few days, right? Did you get some of the other room out objects? I decided not to roll for the banner. I'm gonna save what I have. Well, at least you got some of them, most of them. The event will probably... Well, I don't know if probably, but... If the event comes around again, you can get it then. You're sumifying your room? That'll look cute. I can't imagine him willing to stop and be talked out of what he's doing at this point.
同感だ。いや、むしろ油断していたらこちらが説得されるだろう。
I agree. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried persuading you to be on his side somehow.
彼は正真正銘王の器だ。
Okay,
それ
yeah,
も言
I'd
葉
like
に
to see a
たけ
pic.
たね。
He's got a way with words. Just like a true king.
やっていることは狂気そのものだというのに、彼を糾弾する声は妙に少ないだろう。
Despite how insane his plans are, don't you think it's strange how the public didn't denounce him? I know, yeah, the splash of water. It actually kind of like makes a little bit of a rhythm. Yeah. There.
そういえば
Now that you mention it, they voiced their disagreements somewhat, but many of them are asking for forgiveness. Only those who wanted to stop his plan had actually entered the passage.
人の心を揺さぶり、引きつける力があるんだよ、彼には。
He has the power to sway people and draw them to his side.
別の国の王として生まれていたら、間違いなく歴史に名を残す名君か暴君になっていただろうね。
If he had been born somewhere else, he would either gone down in history as a great king or a tyrant.
そんな男があんなにも普通にこだわるとはなんとも皮肉な話だな。
It's ironic that a guy like that would be so obsessed with normalcy. As they spoke, Anko picked up a weapon from one of the fallen clones that had died from the toxins.
ここから先は別行動といこ
We should separate here.
う。あの強王はろくな戦闘手段や能力を持っていないが、
That insane king isn't a threat when it comes to battle, but
何かしら策や切り札は用意しているだろう。なのでしばらく身を隠し、君が苦戦する場合は隙をついて手助けに入る。
he probably has something up his sleeve. So I'll go into hiding, and if things don't go as planned, I'll jump in to help.
異論はないがどこに潜むつもりだ。研究室の入り口は一つしかないぞ。
That's fine with me. But where do you plan on hiding? There's only one way into his laboratory.
無論君と一緒に。
With you, of course.
は
Huh? Huh? Okay. We'll go with it. It's not gonna like jump out from his shadow or something. Somehow. Anko whispered a plan into Adolf's ear with a suspicious smile.
前正気か？
Or wait, is he gonna like cut off a body part of his? Have Adolf hide it in his clothes? And then, if when the time is right, regenerates? Is that the plan? Is that the plan? I feel like that might be the plan. Have you lost your mind?
正気などとっくの昔に失っている。だからこその作戦だ。
I lost my mind a long time ago. Which is why I'm suggesting this.
だが
But
何？君がうまくやれば私が体を張る必要はなくなる。せいぜい楽をさせておくれよ。
if you can handle the situation yourself, all the better. Do your very best so that I don't have to go. Got it? He paused for a moment to think. But with no other ideas, Adolf quickly nodded and accepted Anko's plan.
ちょうどだ。お前が来る頃には何もかも終わらせておいてやる。
Fine. I'll do my best to end it quickly so that I won't need your help. The time was 11:32 p.m. Minutes away from the execution. As the rest made a hasty escape from the muddy waters of Hades, up to the surface, a single soul made it to the laboratory on time. The entrance to the laboratory was guarded, but the clones in royal guard armor were slain, and his head tossed into the center of the room. The person who stepped in after it was... Yay, he made it. Adolf!
セレス、無事か？
Ceres, are you okay? Yes. At least for now. Adolf breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that I wasn't injured inside the capsule. He roughly dried the sweat from his forehead.
お望み通り来てやったぞ。ダート。
I'm here like you wanted, Donut.
有言実行お見事。
Right
この
on.
国では普通の人間こそが最強なんだと改めて身に染みたよ。
Right on time. Excellent. Seeing you here made me realize that a normal person is the strongest in the country. Donut, standing at the center of the room, clapped his hands to welcome him.
普通とうるさい。お前はそれしか言えねえのか？
Shut up about all that normal crap. Is that all you can say?
俺のこの体も性格もマムやそいつと一緒に暮らしながら自分で作り上げたもんだ。
Oh wait, if Salome actually is Donut's mother, does that make him their brother? I just realized that. Huh. Okay. I was the one who made myself what I am today, along with her and mother.
それを外界の人間だからの一言で片付けるんじゃねえよ。腹が立つ。
Don't dismiss it all as something from the outside world. It's pissing me off.
言っておくが、俺はお前の信念や使命や願望なんて心底どうでもいい。
Let me tell you something. I don't give a damn about your beliefs, your mission, or your desires.
ついでに言うと、このアルペシェールもな。
I don't care about Arpachel either. Huh? Feel like this whole country can burn for all I care. Adolf sighed.
お前を死神と責め立てるこの国と国民を何度恨み、大切な奴ら以外は滅んでしまえと思ったか。
With countless people calling you death? There were countless times I wished everyone would disappear except for those I cared about.
もし人質に取られたのがお前じゃなくて他の心ない住人たちだったら
If you weren't taken hostage, it was one of those heartless citizens.
大切な奴らだけを連れて一か八か海に出ることも真剣に考えたかもしれねえ
I would have seriously considered going out into the ocean and taking only those I wanted to save.
ではなぜ私を止めようとする
So why are you trying to stop me?
セレス惚れた女を取り返すために決まってるだろ
To save Ceres, the girl I love. Isn't that obvious?
告白の返事もまだ聞けてない
I still haven't gotten her reply.
やっぱりそこが理由かさすがに予想通りというか普通すぎてつまらないというか
So that really is your reason, huh? It was as expected, but it's so normal that it's kind of disappointing.
けど告白済みなら返事だけはこの場で聞けばいいじゃないかなんて
Well, if you've already confessed your love, just get a reply now, will you?
聞けるわけないだろうが
But he wants to watch. Of course I won't. Not right now.
幼なじみそれも兄貴分が異性として意識されるまでにかかる膨大な時間をなめるなよ
As her childhood friend and foster brother, I can't underestimate how long it would take her to see me as a man.
え
俺の見立てだとあと5年は確実にかかる
From the looks of it, I'm guessing I need another 5 years.
だからその前に死なれたり別人に仕立て上げられたら困るんだ
I think 1 month will probably do. If even that. So I don't want her to die or be made into someone else before that happens.
だからお前を止めるそれ以上の理由はないから聞くないいな
That's why I'm gonna stop you. There's no other reason, so don't ask, got it?
あはい恋愛感情をなめてすみませんでした
Ah, I see. Sorry for making light of your love affair. CG, yay. Adolf disregarded Donna's apology and walked right up to the capsule. Where's he looking? His eyes are up here, our face is down here. Why are you looking above her? Maybe he's just embarrassed to look her in the face. Aw, isn't he cute? Adolf disregarded Donna's apology and walked right up to his capsule.
今の会話全部聞いてたな聞いていなかったらもう一度言う
You heard what I said. You didn't miss a word, right? I'll say it again if I need to. I heard you. Your voice is really clear, Adolf. But I didn't expect to hear you say that in a situation like this. I was surprised.
俺も自分がこんな場でこんなことを言える男だとは思わなかった
Same here. Never thought I'd be the type to say that at a time like this.
告白を忘れろなんて言って悪かった
And I'm sorry I told you to forget about my confession.
全言撤回する。セレス、俺は
I take it back, Ceres. Say it. Adolf clenched his fist, then took a deep breath. He then spoke boldly to death, whose very existence killed others.
お前が好きだ。
I love you. A straightforward confession.
だからもう優しい兄ではいてやれない。
Which is why I can't act like a kind older brother anymore.
男としてお前を愛したい。
I want to love you as a man.
女としてお前に愛してほしい。
I want you to love me as a woman. After a lifetime of doing everything for others, this was the first time Adolf said something selfish. It was an expression of his greed. Adolf was using that greed to keep me bound like a curse, so that I wouldn't choose death.
ずっと探していた俺の温かな死に場所は。
I've been looking for a long time, for a warm place where I can die.
呪いと23の年月を超えた先にある。
Beyond the curse. Beyond 23 years.
数十年後共に添い遂げたお前の隣以外考えられない。
For decades to come. There's no one else I want to spend my life with but you.
シワだらけになった俺を見とる。俺だけの死神であってくれ。セレス。
Be my goddess of death, Ceres. Be with me when I'm old and grey, until I take my last breath. What he said was like a dream to the people of this country, including myself. The promise of a normal life that no one but Adolf could live. I felt the strength of his sincere wish. I want to live. I want to live and respond to your confession. I want to live as a normal girl, even if it takes years. It wasn't my despair or my sins, but a wish that formed into a teardrop, rolling down my cheek and disappearing. Suddenly, a roar heralded the country's collapse.
いつか返事を聞くためにもお前を殺そうとしているダハトを止めないとな。
I need to stop Donut from killing you, or I'll never hear your reply.
お前の分も殴ってくるからここで見てろ。
I'll make sure he gets what's coming to him. So you just watch. Okay. Adolf's expression went stern, and he turned to Donuts, who had been watching his confession.
素敵な告白だった。
Yep, that was beautiful, alright. Donut witnessed the second confession without interrupting Adolf, and was still looking on with admiration.
私も今まで恋をしたことなんてないけれど。
You know, I've never fallen in love like that before.
いつか愛する女性が見つかったら、君のような告白をしてみたい。
But if I ever fall in love with a woman, I'd want my confession to be like yours. As he gave his heartfelt praise, someone came to stand beside him. How long had he been there? Lucas. No. It looked like one of his modified clones, but there was something off about him. The man gripped his halberd, and the air became tense.
龍華先生の偽物じゃないな。今度はどこから素材を持ってきた？
That isn't a copy of Lucas, is it? Who did you create him from this time?
あなたもよく知ってる人ですよ。
He's someone you know very well.
僕の母を守れず、責任も取らずに城下に下り、自警団なんかを率いて民を守ってる気になっていた。腕力だけが取り柄の元近衛兵。
After failing to protect my mother, he left the royal guard without taking responsibility and became the brutish leader of the corps. How did he get a hold of him? It can't be.
先代？
Us? Actually, no. Wait, Okay, because Lucas and Nadia ran away from home. At that point, their parents were still alive. It was after they ran away from home, at some point, that they heard their parents had been killed? So if Donuts was behind that assassination and took... I don't know what his name is, but Lucas's father's body, the former leader of the corps, and turned him into this, I guess that would make sense timeline-wise? That's Lucas and Nadia's father. Adolf's eyes suddenly opened wide, probably not expecting his former leader to be Lucas's father.
彼の実力は他でもないあなたがよーく知っていますね。
Now, I don't think I need to go into detail about how strong he is, right?
この遺伝子人形に対抗できるのはおそらくリュカさんだけ。でも頼みの彼は毒素によって死にかけている。
I think Lucas is the only one who can take on this genetically modified puppet. But he's about to die from the toxins. Donut told Adolf that he couldn't do anything to stop him now. Adolf responded by drawing his sword.
残念です。僕は本当にあなたのことをいい友人だと思っていたのに。
Too bad. I really did see you as a good friend.
最後の最後まで理解し合えず、一方的に痛めつけることになるなんて。
It hurts we couldn't reach an understanding. And that'll end up just bringing you pain in the end.
この後に及んで悪ふざけか。
Stop joking around, will you?
調子に乗るなよ、クソガキ。この人形を倒したら次は散々あいつを苦しめたお前の番だ。
You need to learn some manners, brats. After I beat your puppet into the ground, you'll be next.
見た目が幼いからって加減してもらえると思うなよ。
Don't think I'm going easy on you just because you look young.
わあ怖い。そういう大口は勝利してから叩くものですよ、アドルフさん。
Wow, scary. But you should save your bragging for after you beat me, Adolf. A single swing. That was all my former teacher needed to destroy the center of the room. My only option was to dodge, knowing that just one injury could lead to my death. Jeez! How is he dodging? His strike from above crashed through the floor. Just as I took a step back to avoid it, the puppet sent a kick to my face. I think we actually saw what he looked like there for a second. I saw something flash on the screen that looked like a face, but disappeared just quickly. His heel grazed my chin, making my head spin. Or maybe that was what I saw. A sweeping kick to my legs followed, but I recognized it from training with him and managed to avoid it instinctively.
扱う武器と体格こそ違うが、この動きは確かに鮮大。
His size and weapons he's using are different, but he moves just like the boss. I always thought he was superhuman, but it made sense now that I knew he used to guard the Queen. Now that I knew he used to guard the Queen. It also explained why his son Lucas was so powerful, meaning I had no chance against this puppet with my current skill. All I could do now was focus on avoiding the fury blows that could lead to my death.
落ち着け。落ち着け。
Calm down. Calm down.
ダートの挑発に乗るな。この男にまともな勝負で勝てる存在は一人しかいない。
I can't let Donut get the better of me. There's only one person who actually stands a chance against this guy. And I knew it wasn't me. Nothing but a miracle would allow me to defeat him. I couldn't entertain the idea of a dramatic victory. I needed to hold back from acting recklessly.
実験器具を盾にすれば少しは躊躇するか。
Maybe I can use the equipment as a shield? I slipped through the crowd of tanks, but the assailants wove through them with precision and brought down his weapon hard. Not good.
二度と戦いたくなかった。
I thought I'd never have to fight him again. The attack grazed my arm, and blood appeared, on top of the fresh cut. Fortunately, the wound itself was deep.
待て。それ以上装置の近くで戦うな。向こうから出てくるのを中央で待て。
Wait. Don't go any closer for now. Wait for him to come out. The puppet moved back to the center of the room. Rather than giving his command as part of the battle strategy, it was more likely that Donut didn't want his equipment to be destroyed. I slowly took a few breaths as I hid behind a tank to come up with a way to win. I couldn't lose. I needed to do what I could to save her. But I looked at my unharmed right wrist. I didn't want to resort to this, out of courtesy toward the person who only wanted to be human. But at this rate, I was going to lose. If I lost, Ceres would die. There was no room here for courtesy.
許せとは言わない。
I won't ask you for forgiveness. I firmed my grip on the sword that I couldn't use during all the running, and something wearing Adolf's clothes blocked the sight of the puppets. There was distance between him and Adolf, still hiding amongst the tanks. It was impossible for Adolf to close the distance in such a short amount of time. How could his sword and arm be here? Before trying to understand the situation, the puppet instinctively reacted by slashing the incoming objects. It was sliced in two, dropping something onto the floor. Adolf?
腕だけ
His arms? Uncle? It was my right arm and his revived left arm. I closed in as the vision was blocked, and put my weight into my next move. I gripped my sword with both hands and thrust it into the puppet's stomach. The puppet groaned from the injury, but didn't fall. Instead, he raised his halberd high into the air for his next attack. But the halberd didn't come down. Another sword appeared from behind me to strike his throat. I want an explanation on what and how is happening. I know this is Anko's supposed plan he was explaining earlier. But I want to know how. What? It was the man who pretended to be the head of the royal guard, tossed into the center of the laboratory. He gripped the sword as his body, as his body continued to regenerate, and pushed it through the puppet's neck. We both drew our swords out of his body, causing it to sway back and forth. The puppet, who thought was someone else's strength, slowly collapsed into a pool of blood.
結局私の力が必要だったね。もっと精進したまえよ。
It seems you need my power after all. You should be more diligent in your training.
お前は隙ができるまで生首のまま寝てただけだろ。
All you did was act like a decapitated head and wait for the right moments. Adolf, Anko! Adolf and Anko each raised a hand and struck them together as they called their names. But soon afterward, Adolf pointed the tip of his sword to the throat of the dumbfounded donuts. Anko came to the capsule I was in, so that he could get me out. Anko, what happened with Adolf's arm earlier? That's my question too. I thought Adolf's right hand had been cut off just before he was carried away by the water in the underground passage. But when I saw him return with his hand intact, I thought it was just my imagination. I couldn't understand what happened.
彼はカプシーヌが行った実験で私の細胞を移植され適合したようだからね。
Oh, I see. It seems that my cells were transferred to his body during Capuchin's experiments.
私とまではいかないが、多少の欠損ぐらいなら再生することが可能になったようだ。
He does not have the same regenerative abilities that I do, but he is able to recover from smaller injuries now. A decapitated hand is called a smaller injury? Okay. I can't believe it. That meant that Adolf had some level of immortality, similar to Anko.
ふざけるな!
Damn it! Hearing Anko's explanation, Donut took a step closer to the tip of the sword as he shouted with rage.
裏切ったなアドルフ。この国でお前だけは。
How dare you betray me, Adolf? You were the only one in this country, too.
傷を死を軽々しく扱わない男だと僕は信じていたのに。
Donut, honey. There's one thing I think you're not understanding. Adolf gained this ability during the experiments you had happening on your orders. So really, it's Donut's own fault he's like this. So don't blame Adolf, okay? A human who understood the gravity of being injured, of dying. I believed in you.
惚れた女の命がかかってる以上、手段なんか選ぶわけねえだろ。
Since the life of the girl I'm in love with was at stake, I had no other choice.
それと、文句ならあいつの細胞を俺に移植したカプシーヌに言え。
And Capuchin was the one who messed with my genes, so go complain to him instead.
勝負はついたんだ。早くセレスを解放しろ。
We're done now, so release Ceres.
アドルフ、彼が解放を装い妙な動きをしたらすぐに首をはねるのだよ。
Adolf, make sure you sever his head the moment he behaves at all suspiciously. Adolf tightened his grip on his own sword and responded with affirmation. He probably gave up on trying to find a way out of his situation. Donut reluctantly began to navigate through the screen that appeared in front of me. In the next moments, I could hear air blowing out of the capsule. I carefully pushed against the capsule from inside. Suddenly, the capsule let out a sound like glass shattering as it dissipated into a rain of light. Fancy.
セレス。
Anko somehow grabbed me just before I tumbled to the floor. Anko, thank you for coming to save me. And I'm sorry I had you go through so much pain again just to save me.
君が謝る必要はない。今回は私よりも体を張った男がいることだしね。
There is no need to apologize. After all, there is another man who has done more this time around. Anko and I headed toward Adolf, who still had his sword raised. Adolf, are you hurt?
もう治った。お前も楽じゃないな。肉体が再生するとき、それなりに痛む。
I'm already healed. Man, you don't have it easy, do you? It hurts to regenerate body parts like that.
内臓を再生する痛みに比べれば四肢ぐらい大したことないだろう。
Oh, yeah, that would be much more painful. Ooh. Compared to the pain of regenerating internal organs, limbs are nothing. Donut was leaning against one of the tanks, with the floating screen as the two of them continued their unusual conversation. His expression didn't show a hint of the anger he displayed earlier.
はあ、母様の遺伝子も取られちゃったし、この戦争は僕の完全敗北かな。
Now that my mother's genes have been taken away from me, this war is a total loss.
ああ、悔しい。肉体再生はほんとずるいと思います。
No fair. Being able to regenerate gave you too much of an advantage. I only noticed now that the screen showed that it was now midnight. The time for the planned mass extinction had arrived. But I didn't feel the ground shaking or the sound of people wailing.
自分から爆破を止めたのか
You turned off the detonation sequence?
というか、彼女を閉じ込めてたあのカプセルと爆破起動システムをリンクさせてたんですよ。
Actually, the detonation system was linked directly to the capsule she was in. So there you go.
約束は約束ですからね。彼女を救出したら処刑が止まるようにしてたんです。
A promise is a promise. Since you saved her, the execution process was terminated. Adolf put away his sword, after determining that he no longer needed it. Donuts.
おめでとうございます、セレスさん。あなたのお兄さんではなく、あなたに惚れた男の勝利です。
Congratulations, Ceres. Your brother? No, the man who fell in love with you has won.
煮るなり焼くなりご自由に。うちの親戚みたいに息汚くあがくことはしませんよ。
Feel free to do what you want with me. I won't put up a fight like my disgusting relatives. Please don't say that. There's a difference between being selfish and wanting to live life to its fullest. I don't want to take revenge on you or have you die.
同じく
Same here.
私は彼女の意見が最優先だ。
Her wish is my command.
僕、あなた方に対して結構な仕打ちをしたと思いますけど。
He did, but I too want him to live. But he does need to somehow be punished. Huh? But I did some pretty horrible stuff to you folk, you know? What I said to him wasn't out of kindness or pity, but rather... The crimes you committed are too great for me to judge on my own. Your punishment will be up to the others to decide.
お前が変死事件を起こすことでセレスが自死しかけた件についてはまだ許してねえが
I still haven't forgiven you for the series of deaths that nearly drove Ceres to suicide. Ouch!
頭に拳3発が妥当な落としどころかもし間に合わずにこいつが死んでたら迷わず殺してたけどな
3 knuckles to the head will do for now. Just know I would have killed you immediately if I came here and found her dead. I do think you should be judged in the court of law, but now that the royal family who used to pass judgment is gone, except for you, should he be detained and trialed here? I looked at Adolf and Anko to silently ask for their opinions. The corpse who made up of civilians. I wondered if they might represent the people.
ひとまずシアンに預けたらどうだ
How about we hand him over to Cian for the time being?
いざとなればあいつが王族の代わりにダードを裁くはずだ講師を挟まないやつだからな
Donut doesn't know that Cian is alive at all. He can come up with a fair punishment in the royal family's place. He's the impartial, objective type. I suppose. We decided to contact him and the others to make sure they were safe. Adolf took out his transmitter from the pockets. Donut didn't give any indication of escaping, even as we turned our attention away from him. All he did was gaze blankly at screens of light floating above him, around him, whatever. His mysteriously colored eyes widened as far as they could. What are you looking?
交際認証って知ってます？
Do you know what iris recognition is?
二人とも伏せろ。
Duck, both of you! The execution had begun. I thought it was stopped. The sound of the ground collapsing, and the screams of the people being swallowed by the sludge of Hades surrounded from afar.
爪が甘いですね。王の首を取るまで終わらないのが本気の戦争ですよ。
This was way too easy. The war isn't over until you behead the king. Why, you?
ダート、てめえ。
Damn you, donuts.
おっと危な。
Whoa, that was close. Donut ducked low and somehow slipped past Adolf as he tried to knock him to the floor. As the shock caused me to stagger a few steps away from Anko, I saw Donut heading straight toward me. He pulled out a knife hidden in his clothes and reached out to claim his hostage. Donut!
こうなる前に早く僕をさばいてしまえばよかったんですよ。
You should have passed judgment on me if you wanted to avoid this.
さ、こちらに。僕はまだ呪いの解除も母の蘇生も諦めていない。
Now come along. I still haven't given up hope on getting rid of the curse and reviving my mother.
では優しいこの子たちに代わり私があなたを裁きましょう。
Very well. I will pass judgment on behalf of these gentle souls.
それがあなたをずっと迷子にしていた愚かな女王の最後の務めです。
I knew it! I was right! I was right! This is my victory. Sorry. It is my final duty as a foolish queen, after having left you alone for so long.
あ、
The white arrow that was stabbed into Donut's heart from behind was painted red with his blood. The knife fell from his hand to the floor. A few seconds later, Donut fell to his knees. Mother?
いいえ違うわ。
No. You're mistaken.
この声。
That voice.
私の本当の名はクリス。
My real name is
クリスティーヌ・レーブ・ポワール。
Christine Weverpar.
かつてアルペシェールを治めていた死に損ないの愚かな女王として。
I am the foolish queen who once ruled Alperchel, who missed her opportunity to die.
リアム・レーブ・ポワール。多くの婿の民を手にかけ国を滅ぼそうとしたあなたを。
Liam Weverpar? You have killed many innocent souls and orchestrated the demise of this country.
女王として私が裁きます。
As such, I will judge you as its queen. Backstory? Probably, yeah. It was around 60 years ago. The one who saved me after I was thrown into the Lycris field was the partner who worked alongside me to fight the curse. The ally I regarded as an equal, Cyan Brothais.
ほう。しばらく姿を見かけないと思ったらこんなところに捨てられていたが。
No, I haven't seen you in some time. I see you managed to get yourself tossed out here.
それだけの傷で生きているとは大した生命力。いや、生への執念だ。
That you're still living despite those wounds is proof of your strength. No, your desire to live. The man spoke without any concern for me as I lay there, awaiting my death.
これから待ち受ける困難や理不尽を覚悟した上で、まだ生きたいと望むのなら。
If you're determined to continue knowing the hardships you will endure from this point forward, I will save you. He bestowed a miracle with the greatest of ease. It seemed my uncle and the other relatives who planned my assassination had deleted my backup data, but hidden in a laboratory that Cyan had secretly built, I wandered between life and death. I was able to hold on to life, but now as a reliver with a different appearance to deceive the royal family. Later, I went into hiding in Coin, but I still couldn't give up on my mission to lift the curse. Believing there were others with the same ideas, I established the Society of Exorcists. Oh, so that was her. But the group I established was taken over by a man with ulterior motives for his own satisfaction, and worse. Those who agreed with me were killed, and I was thrown into the ocean past the Lycris field.
Mataka.
Again. As sad as it may sound, I was once again saved by Cyan, who revived me with the backup he had stored for me. Around a decade later, seeing how unlucky I was, Cyan made a suggestion that I distance myself from the curse. Instead, I would establish an orphanage and raise children to be introduced to Cyan and assist with his work. Though such a long-term plan was intimidating since the results could not be guaranteed despite my sustained efforts, I repeatedly revived as a reliver to extend my life and continue doing what I could without fail. Yes, everything I did. All of it was overthrown by the rotten royal family, and realized a dream I had envisioned with my son. As I continued to play the part of a mother, I soon found those feelings becoming real. I discovered Adolf and Ceres, both of whom could be the keys to breaking the curse once and for all. In the years that followed, I lost all desire to offer my children to him as sacrifices. But...
あの放送があって、リアムという名前が聞こえたときは、本当に驚いた。
During that announcement, I was completely taken aback, by surprise to hear the name Liam.
私が城に置いてきてしまった可愛いあの子は、
My sweet, precious child, who was left behind at the castle.
私のようになぶり殺しにされたって知らされていたから。
He was mercilessly killed, just like I was. At least, That was what I had heard.
それがまさか
But by some miracle,
こんな近くで生きていてくれたなんて。
he had lived and was so close to me. Mother was drenched in blood, but she crouched down and embraced Donut with all her might. Mother. She was the Queen Christine Donut had longed for and spent all these years trying to bring back to life? If she had actually been alive all along, having revived as a reliver in secret? All of the sacrifices from Donut's experiments and research?
すべて無駄だったということになるね。
All of those lives were lost in vain. Donut finally raised his head as he lay in Mother's arms.
あなたが僕の母様。どうしてそんな全然違う姿に。
You are my mother? But why? You don't look like her.
姿の異なるリライバーの作成。
A reliver with a different appearance.
あんな研究をどうしてシアンさんが開発したのか疑問だったけど。
I was wondering why Cyan developed it, only to use it once.
あなたをかくまうために。
It was all for you. Mother nodded as tears rolled down her cheeks.
ごめんなさいリアム。あなたはこんな姿になるまで私を探してくれていたのに。
I'm sorry, Liam. You were looking for me so long and went through so much.
すぐに見つけてあげられなくてごめんなさい。
I'm sorry I couldn't find you sooner. I'm so sorry.
記憶の欠損のせいであなたの顔をどうしても思い出せなくなってしまったの。
Because of my memory loss, I can no longer remember your precious face.
ああ、それで
I see.
ずっと求めていた遺伝子がこんな近くにあったなんて。
This whole time, the genes I was looking for were so close to me. In all these years that Cyan and Mother knew each other,
定期的なバックアップのために手紙のやり取りをしてたのか。
that's why they kept exchanging letters, so she could keep getting her backups done.
ほんとどこまでも食えないですよね、あの人は。
Seriously. He knows how to work around every situation. Donut held Mother with what little strength remained in his arms.
大変だったんですね。たくさん殺されて、その度にまたリライバーになりよみがえって。
It must have been so hard. Killed so many times, each time reviving as a reliver.
もっと早く僕があなたを見つけることが
If only
できてれば。
I had been able to find you much sooner. Donut's voice was filled with sorrow.
そんなにたくさんリライバーになったなら僕への愛なんて忘れちゃいましたよね。
Probably not. No, definitely no. Because she has an intense love for children that stems from her, from him, from being his mother. Of course, you've already forgotten your love for me now that you're alive, right?
今のあなたにとっての僕は許されない罪を犯した。ただの自分が裁くべき大罪に。
To you, I am only a criminal who has committed unforgivable sins, a person to be judged.
そんなことはない。あなたは間違いなく私の可愛い息子リアムよ。
That's not true. You will always be my adorable beloved son, Liam.
あなたへの感情は確かに薄れてしまったけれど、記憶がそうだって叫んでる。
More and more of my emotions are lost with each revival. But the memory in my heart remembers.
だから今ここで一度死んでリライバーとしてまた生まれ変わりましょう。
Now, why don't you go to sleep? And when you wake up, you'll be a reliver again.
あなたの犯した罪は決して許されるものじゃないけれど、
The sins you've committed cannot be forgiven, but
母様が一緒に背負ってあげる。またこれからいくらでも私はあなたを愛せるわ。
Mother will be able to take on those sins for you. From now on, I'll be able to give you all the love in the world. Hearing her words, Donut smiled.
でも
But
結局あなたはこそこそ隠れていただけで、いつの間にかリライバーの利便性に溺れ、呪いを研究しなくなっていたんでしょ。
you were just hiding in secret all along. The convenience of becoming a reliver stopped you from researching the curse.
裁かれるのはそちらの方だ。
Now,
お
let's
前
calm
のよう
down.
な気軽に死んで生き返る女は僕が求めていた母様じゃない。
You're the one to be judged. A woman who dies and revives so easily isn't the mother I've been looking for all these years.
一度死んでなんて言葉、あの人は間違っても使うものか。
You said I should die and revive again. She would never say that. With that, Donut took his last breath before dying in Mother's arms. But
そう、僕が敬愛した女王はたった今この国の死に毒され死んだ。
yes, the beloved queen I looked up to was poisoned by the curse of this country.
己が信念を忘れ、民を利する使命を放棄し、のうのうと国を放置した罰として。
She forgot her resolve and turned her back on her mission to save the people, leaving things in the hands of fools.
シスター・サロメ、お前の罪も僕が裁こう。
Sister Salome, I will pass judgment on you as well. So he had a backup clone all ready and going. waiting. A red flower bloomed from Mother's throats. Behind me, a single figure burst out from one of the culture tanks. Another donut stabbed her throats with a sharp knife as she held the other donuts in her arms.
Maru!
Why is Anko calling her mother? Oh well, okay, sure. Mother collapsed to the floor and was still. Before I could even feel sorrow, the new donut grabbed my hand as I rushed forward with the other two.
すみませんね。僕も大概息汚いみたいだ。
I'm so sorry. Guess I'm living a filthy life too.
正真正銘。これが最後の悪あがき。信念を捨てた女王と僕を打ち破った宿敵への嫌がらせを兼ねた。ねえ！
This is really my last resort. My way of causing trouble to the nemesis who beat me, and the queen who forgot her mission. The clone quickly tossed me into one of the tanks, with door open. The door closed, and Donut quickly began to activate the screen and tap against it.
セレス！
They both came running toward me, and Adolf punched Donuts, who was putting up a fight. Anko was trying his best to open the door, but it was of no use.
何のつもりだダード！女王、マムが見つかったのならセレスを実験に巻き込む理由はねえだろ！
What are you doing, Donuts? There's no need to drag Srez into your mess if you've already found the queen. Mother!
今すぐ装置を停止してこいつを解放しろ！
Unlock this tank and let her out now.
無理です、無理無理。
No, no can do, not a chance. Yeah, he's lost it. Donut laughed madly as Adolf grabbed him by the collar.
処理が終わるまでは完全ロックと設定しておきましたから。
I've set it to be fully locked down until the process is complete.
処理の最中に下手に装置をいじったり蓋を破壊したりなんかしたら瞬く間に彼女が死んじゃいますよ。
Be careful, because she'll die if you try to fidget with the settings or force the tank open.
自分でも投薬以外何の処理をしたか全くわからないのでおとなしく結果を見届けるしかありません。
I added some chemicals, but I'm not sure what the results will be either. Looks like we're gonna have to wait and see. Suddenly, ouch. Ah! The tank filled with a strange liquid that I could breathe in. The temperature of the liquid suddenly rose. I'm guessing it's probably the same stuff they put Adolf in? Or similar? I could hear voices calling my name from outside the tank, but I was in no state to respond. My eyes, my ears, my mouth, and even the pores on my skin were absorbing the liquid. The power of the Lycoris Neoges that slept in my body slowly mutated into a different flower. Ah! The pain made my throat burn. It hurts. It's so hot. What's happening? My genes, my cells, my body were being tainted with something heavy, like mud. Slowly, I heard the familiar sound of burning skin. Ah! That's the best I can do. With a scream, I became a completely new existence. The tank broke, and I collapsed into the floor with the liquid. I was in so much pain that I couldn't even faint. When I realized that I was still alive, I put a hand to my chest in relief.
セレス
Are we a monstrosity like Nadia was in Lucas's roots? Did we turn into some, like, creature of nightmarish?
その姿は
Help not. What is going on? I could hear Adolf and Akko confused voices. Huh? Or does she have does she now look like the Queen Christine in her original form? The first thing I saw when I was freed from the unidentifiable pain was... No. What is this? My skin had taken on the color of the Lacris Neoges, as if they had bloomed all over my body. Oh. Ugh. Suddenly, a sharp pain surged through my chest, making me double over. Before Cereza's genes mutated, Adolf once again grabbed Donut by the collar, but this time slammed him hard against the tank.
何がどうなっているこいつに一体何をしたこの姿は一体
Whatever it is, I feel this is not good. What the hell is going on? What did you do to her? Donut choked from the immense pressure as he opened a screen of lights. He confirmed the results of the random inputs he made earlier.
わお、すごい。彼女の希少な遺伝子が突然変異で悪質化しちゃってる。
Explain! Oh, amazing. Looks like her rare genes have become even more rare.
今までどちらかと
What are
い
you,
うと
Capuchin?
毒素の排出に特化していたのが
Her body used to emit toxins into the air before, but
反転し空中に気化している毒素を今までの数十倍以上の勢いで吸い込んでるっぽいですよ。
it looks like her traits reversed. And now she's absorbing all the toxins from the air at an alarming rate.
なんだと
What? Donut's response was innocent but cruel. Hearing Donut respond as if he had just found a new toy, Adolf and Anko's expressions immediately changed. Cereza's physical traits allowed her to tolerate trace amounts of toxins in her body. It didn't mean she was impervious to the curse. The fact that she was now absorbing an incredible amount of toxins meant
私の血で特効薬を作れ。
Use my blood to make an antidote. As Adolf came to the worst conclusion possible, Anko quickly closed in on Donuts.
はい。
Excuse me?
呪い、この毒素に有効な特効薬だ。
The curse! Make an antidote to fight it!
アンク
An antidote to fight death's curse. Adolf's questioning gaze was of no concern to Anko.
私はそれを作るため数百年毒素を溜め込んだリコリスノワージュを摂取し続けてきたんだ。
This is the very reason I've been consuming those toxic licorice niches for hundreds of years.
だから私の肉体には抗体ができているはず。
My body should have the proper antibodies to fight the curse.
完璧ではなくてもそれに近い状態で。
It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work.
抗体があれば何でもできるってわけじゃん。特効薬にも作り方があるわけで。
But antibodies alone won't do much now. There are steps now you need to be taken, and
私が知っている。私が教える。
I know how to make it. I'll show you.
この男が真実にたどり着いたことでようやく全てを語れるようになったんだ。
Now that he's discovered the truth, I can finally talk about everything. Oh. Wait, what was the truth? Can someone remind me what the truth was? That, was the truth that, Salome was Queen Christine? Is that the truth? Both his crimson eyes and Donut's curious ones turned to Adolf. Before he could say anything,
抗体から特効薬さえ作れればこいつが溜め込んだ毒素そのものを無効化できるんだろう。
we can nullify the toxin stored in her body if we create the antidote using my antibodies. Anko was finally able to explain the method through which he planned to turning her into a normal girl. Donut replied in a dismayed manner.
それならわざわざ彼女の能力に頼らなくても呪い自体を無効化できたんですね。
So we never had to rely on her in order to nullify the curse. Adolf didn't really understand what was going on, but he did know that she only had to suffer for the time being until they could create the antidote using Anko's blood. Once done, the unusual mutation would disappear, and Ceres could be saved. It would also lead the way to bringing about a complete end of the curse. Ceres also heard what was discussed, and they began to feel hope again. For now. The same hope that was in Anko's heart.
でも
But
今から作ったってもう効きませんよ。
it won't work, even if we make one.
は？
Both their hopes were completely dashed.
だって彼女の変異した遺伝子が取り込んだ毒素を体内で別物に変換しちゃいましたもん。
I mean, her genes mutated and are now altering the airborne toxins into some other toxin that's poisoning her. Which was why using Anko's antibodies wouldn't make any difference. They were only able to fight the toxins from the soil. They would have no effect on the new toxins forming inside her.
新たな抗体を作り直したいなら彼女の血肉を丸ごと食べるぐらいのことはしないと。
If you want an effective antidote, you need to do something along the lines of consuming her flesh and blood.
なら
If so,
このまま何もできなければこいつはどうなる？
what will happen to her if she is left alone like this?
見ての通り変換した毒素に肌ごと全身を汚染され
As you can see, her body will be fully tainted by the altered toxins in her body, and Anko wanted to stop him from saying more. His heart cried out silently, knowing there was no hope left. The licorice pattern on her skin was proof that the toxins were consuming her body. Her organs would shut down soon. In the end, there would be nothing left of her. Her body would be burned through the licorice pattern.
この世で最も無残な姿になって死にますよ。
So yes, she's going to die a gruesome and horrible death. I'm very disappointed in you, Donuts. Very, very disappointed. A death sentence with no salvation. The two of them finally realized the truth. They wanted to die, and fell to their knees next to Cerez. It was all right. Nothing worse would happen. Just as they tried to find a silver lining, from below their eyes, the sound of despair growled. Ugh! Suddenly, Cerez groaned with pain, and Adolf quickly moved to support her. The mark of the licorice was blooming across Cerez's skin. The tainting from the inside out could not be stopped. Ah! Screams. Her heartbeat seemed to shake the air. The image of the flower that Anko's ally and Adolf's friend had worked to protect bloomed proudly across her body as proof of the altered toxins consuming her body.
セレスダメだ、腕をかきむしるんじゃない。傷口からも毒素が吸い込まれる。
No, don't scratch your arm. You absorb more toxins from the wounds. Cerez cried out desperately for help. A new licorice bloomed on top of her tongue and inside her mouth. Adolf was stunned by the alarming speed of the contamination.
どけ、今すぐ私の血を。
Move, let me give her my blood.
頼む。
Do it. I honestly don't know if this is gonna help. I don't think so. I feel like it's not. Anko picked up the arrow from the floor and pierced his arm without hesitation. He dripped his blood into her open mouth, but
本当に効かないのか。
it isn't working.
違う、効かないなんてことはありえない。全部そいつのデタラメだ。
No. It has to work. He's just lying to us.
量、そうだ。今はまだ量が足りないだけで。
More. That's right. She needs more of my blood.
もっと大量に血を、抗体を飲ませれば。
Much more. She needs to take in my antibodies.
大丈夫だ。きっと助かる。
It'll be fine. I'm sure we can save her. I'm not. Opium. Ugh.
助かるはずなんだ。
She has to be saved.
絶対に
She has to. She has to!
俺はずっと
All this time.
そのために生き延びてきたのだから。
This is the very reason I stayed alive. All this time.
Ceres ほら、お前のために用意した抗体だぞ。
Here. Antibodies I prepared for your sake.
なのに、なんで
So why? It didn't stop. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Only seconds had passed. Ceres's entire body was consumed by the mutated Lycoris. She was hardly breathing now, and her body twitched with spasms until she lay as motionless as a corpse. She couldn't be saved. She was in such terrible states that everyone knew what fate awaited here.
リコリスのお姫様らしい綺麗な死に様ですね。
I wouldn't call it
彼女
beautiful.
も喜んでますよ。
It sounds like it would look horrifying. I'm not. He has a unique idea of beautiful. A beautiful death befitting of the Lycoris princess. I'm sure she's happy now.
貴様
Why you? Before Anko could even move, Adolf drew out his sword and decapitated Donuts. A rain of blood fell from the air, and his head slowly rolled next to Salome, as if reaching out to her.
アドルフ、お前
Adolf, you.
目的は達した。シアンと合流する。
Mission accomplished. Let's meet up with Cyan.
あいつなら治療こそできなくてもセレスをこの世に留める方法を編み出せるはずだ。
Even if he can't fully heal Ceres, I'm sure he'll be able to find a way to get her out through this alive.
わかった。では、シスター・サロメは私が背負おう。
Understood. I'll carry Sister Salome on my back. It didn't matter the citizens were screaming in despair. They decided to leave Nadia in the hands of Yves and the others who would probably come here once the toxins thinned. They carried Ceres, limp as a doll, and Salome, who is now dead, out of the laboratory. Their eyes were not tainted by resignation, yet. Yet even if...
空、セレス。もう何も見えないだろうが、俺たちの家に戻ってきたぞ。
Look, Ceres. I know you probably can't see very well, but we're back home.
今日からこのベッドの上がお前の居場所だ。
This bed here is yours from now on. Even if Ceres herself had already given up hope to live, Ceres received medical attention from Cyan. The two of them ignored the chaos in the country and brought her back home as she struggled to breathe.
俺たちが懸命に看病していれば お前はこのままの状態で生き続けることができるらしい。
According to him, it looks like we can keep you alive in the States as long as we take care of you.
私も冥界には戻らず、ずっとここで君のことを死ぬまで守り続けよう。
I will not return to Hades. I will stay here forever to watch over you until death. Hearing their voices, Ceres twitched as more Lycoris marks appeared across her skin.
ああ、君が生きてくれてよかった。
Thank goodness you are alive.
もう大事な君が生きてさえいてくれれば、どんな姿だろうが構わない。
It matters not what form you take, so long as you remain alive.
ああ、今度こそ何があっても死なせはしない。
Yeah. This time, I promise I won't let you die. Now that she's basically a flower, does she need immense amounts of water? Do we need to buy a huge vase? I know I'm horrible, okay? Seeing the two in a trance beside her, she opened her mouth and tried to speak with her tongue now blooming with Lycoris marks. Hurts. Pain. Please kill me. She pleaded to them, but...
ダメだ。惚れた女を殺せる男がどこにいるんだよ。
No. No real man would kill the woman he loves.
告白した時、俺はこう言ったよな。
Do you remember what I told you when I confessed to you?
ずっと探していた俺の温かな死に場所は。
I've been looking for a long time for a warm place where I can die.
呪いと23の年月を超えた先にある。
Beyond the curse, beyond 23 years.
数十年後、共に添い遂げたお前の隣以外考えられない。
For decades to come, there's no one else I want to spend my life with but you.
シワだらけになった俺を見とる。俺だけの死神であってくれ、セレス。
Please be my goddess of death, Ceres. Be with me when I'm old and gray, until I take my last breath. Remember? His wish would now become a reality, not in the form of a promise, but as a curse.
そうだね。その約束を君が果たすためにも。
He is right. And in order for you to fulfill that promise,
呪いと23の年月を超えた先にある数十年後。
you must become this place for him, beyond the curse, beyond 23 years.
シワだらけになった俺を見とるまで、どれだけ苦しくても。
No matter how much we suffer, I want you to see me grow old and gray.
絶対に死なせず、俺たちが守ってやるからな。
We'll protect you together, and make sure you never die. It was a curse that kept her with them forever, one that promised her a life of endless suffering. And there we go. I don't think that's... Let me look at the flowchart. That's probably... We probably didn't get true end. The true despair end. Because we didn't get the ending credits. Okay, and good. So they are basically one route together. Oh, I want to look at theirs. Okay, so yeah, there's... Pretty sure there's another, We got an end, but we didn't get the right end. So, next week we will need to go back and make the right decisions. From the very beginning. So that will be our task for next week. So yes, there we go. That was Virce Evermore Error Salvation. So yeah, next week we will get to True End. But we did technically finish it. The roots. I'll have to look up, yeah. Because the different route endings usually take longer than you would assume. We'd be adding another hour or two to the stream. And it's already been 5. Yeah, it's already almost 2 AM, so we'll end it here. But that is our mission for next week. So there we go. Well, that turned out well. So, like, did everyone else die? Or did they find a cure for the people? Whatever. Great. Jeez, we got a yandere moment going on there at the end. Not gonna lie, I had a feeling somewhere along the way on this route it would turn yandere. And I was right. It just happened at the very, very end. But I was also right about Salome being Donut's mother. So yay! I predicted it like 3 routes back, basically. Yeah, basically 3 routes back. Maybe 2, but... No, 3, because, yeah. So I think I predicted it during when I was on science routes. I had the prediction that Salome was, Donut's mother. Although I was wrong in the prediction that, Salome may be like the sister of, Cyan. So I was wrong in that sense. But I was right that she was the mother of, Donut. So I'm proud of myself for that. I like when I'm right. But that aside, let us check our schedule for the week. So tomorrow we have a demo of an indie game called Snow White Ashes by a creator called Endysys. It's from one of the Once Upon a Time jams that we did a couple games from. This would be the last one from that jam. Last one I have saved up from that jam, I believe. So we do that tomorrow at 8 p.m. Then Saturday we have we're gonna binge Frieren and Solo. We're gonna watch the newest episode of Solo Leveling. So we're gonna have a binge day starting at 6 p.m. I'll be having a coffee with me and snacks, hopefully. I'd like to make something tomorrow before stream. Or, yeah, tomorrow before my stream to have ready for Saturday. So I'll have to see what I can whip up, what kind of snacks I can whip up. I'm unfortunately low on snackies. But that is the plan. We'll have to see what happens in the other routes, the other end. How things change. Excited for that, but we will have to wait. With that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed this. Thank you for everyone who came on by. It's always good seeing people here. I hope everyone has a good day, morning, night, evening. And I do hope to see you all again soon. Alright. I'll be going. That way I can go to bed and get up so I can make those snacks. What if it would end like this? Open and go! Alright. Bye everyone!